welcome. So, this video was originally going to be me talking about all my creative projects, but I changed my mind. I still might film that today or something, but I want to talk about the CDs that I recently bought. Because I'm a sucker for CDs and generally physical media. I also bought some DVDs. I bought Sinners and a random horror movie that I watched. It was pretty good. It's called The Hangman. It was like 2020 or something. Not the old Hangman, that's way more popular. I also bought a CD for a friend of mine who loves the Beatles, so I bought a Beatles CD. I don't even know what album it is or whatever. Anytime I see something Beatles, I buy it for her. But what I bought for myself is albums that I feel like already listened to a million times, but I don't have yet. Although, this is an exception. This is, I don't know if you can actually see it. This is the new edition of Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge. Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge, which is my absolute favorite album ever, and I obviously also have it. I have the original cover with like the art on it. But this is the new edition, which I bought because I have no impulse control. And I mean, it's also really pretty, and it has some new songs on it, so it's kind of worth it. What was not worth it, because I didn't realize what I was buying, is this, which I bought because I've been listening to Queen more recently, and I didn't look too closely, okay? But this is from the movie, so it has like the whole movie soundtrack. I thought it was just like a Queen album or something like this. This is just the movie soundtrack for the Bohemian Rhapsody movie. I might see if I can return it actually, but who knows? I don't want the new versions from the movie of the songs. I just want the music. But anyway. But now to the actual new albums that I've bought. Well, new for me. They're very old albums. And I've also listened to them a lot already. But I didn't have them on CD. So first of all, I was so happy when I saw they have this. It's the Black Parade. I don't know if you can really see it, but I can actually take the packaging off. But the Black Parade, that not only the album, but that specific song, like Welcome to the Black Parade, was the first song by MCR I ever heard. And I was obsessed with it. At this point, as I said, Three Cheers to Sweet Revenge is my favorite album now, but obviously I still love it. And actually I'm not sure if I've listened to every single song. I don't know. I've listened to most of them though. But yeah, I am so glad to finally have this. Usually the store in my town doesn't have more than one. Like, they have Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge, like the original usually. And several times that I've been there, they've had nothing else by MCR. And they very rarely have any bands I like, because they only have like a tiny little alternative section. And actually most of the bands I like are pretty, not to sound like hipster or something, but I'm like not very well known because I try to support smaller bands like Cat Crash or Pop and those kind of bands. But obviously you're not gonna find CDs for those in a random German town. So I am planning to order some CDs from those bands though at some point. But anyway, now I have the Black Parade, so I finally have something. I finally don't only have Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge. But now I have that 2 times also. And then the other one I have is Green Day, classic American. Classic American Idiot. Also, I know it's like kind of almost stereotypical, but Green Day was what kind of got me into punk initially, although now I listen to very different kinds of punk. Like, as I said, more like indie punk and that kind of stuff. Also, you wouldn't guess by these CDs, but I actually also do have a Cure CD and a Lacuna Coil vinyl record, because I do have a record player. Although I usually buy CDs, I just like them more. But I also listen to a lot of goth music, but for some reason with goth music I tend to be more like listening to specific songs, and with punk music and like that kind of stuff I listen to like more generally bands and albums. Why do I keep forgetting the word albums? But yeah, those were the CDs I bought and the one I accidentally bought. And I also bought, I can actually, sorry, yeah. I bought The Sinners, as I said, and I don't have that right here, and I'm not gonna get up to get it right now. But I bought this movie, which is a pretty good movie. Like, it's one of the first, like, proper horror movies I've watched. So take this with a grain of salt, but I really liked it. It's a little tropey, but I very much enjoyed watching it, and I cared about the characters, which is sometimes difficult to do in general, and especially since it's a shorter movie. Like, it's just like about 90 minutes, but I can recommend it. And the one I haven't watched yet is The Crow, the original, because I saw a video about the remake at some point, and the remake looks bad from what I've seen in that review, but the original sounded really cool and like exactly my shit. So I'm gonna watch that maybe today. Still have a beer in the fridge. We'll see. But yeah. Also, I already have because I love letting people borrow any physical media I have, like books, most of them anyway, not all of them though, because I have some attachments, but books, video games I have physically, CDs, DVDs, I love letting people borrow them because I'm such a proponent of physical media. I could go on a whole rant about just that. But I also bought Sinners now, and there are already 2 people who have asked to borrow it at some point. So I'm gonna have to see if I watch it before or after them. But yeah, I do like that, like, by just buying and having physical media, I'm low-key encouraging the people around me to also use physical media, because they can borrow it from me for free without any extra hassle. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe I'll talk about Sinners a bit. Maybe I'll talk about some movies if I feel like it. I mean, I talked a little bit about The Hangman, which, to be clear, not to be confused with the much older and much more popular and well-known Hangman. That has nothing to do with this movie. But yeah, I also might watch the new Dracula at some point. Maybe with my partner, they invited me to it, but had to cancel. But maybe we'll still watch that at some point, which I'm kind of hyped for. Actually, even though I love vampires, I've never read Dracula, which is mostly because I'm too busy rereading Frankenstein a million times. Because Frankenstein is one of my absolute favorite books ever. But I should absolutely read it. But I'm not necessarily gonna read it before the movie, because from what I've heard, it's not that, like, 1-to-1, so it should be fine. And, like, it's not like I don't know what happens in Dracula. But yeah, this is this video. I love talking about music and physical media and shit like that, so yeah. I'm also, once again, very hyped to finally have this physically. Okay. Bye.